Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, obviously we have a little bit of a different tone than we had over the past couple of days. That's for an obvious reason, but we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about how the crypto market has actually rebounded and where I'm expecting the crypto market to go. First, if you like these videos, go ahead and give me a like. I really appreciate it. It really helps share these videos along, and also subscribe if you like this content. I first want to get into something before we get into the charts here. I did sit down with Tim and Nancy Danter. We discussed Bitcoin, Ethereum, and why there's going to be plenty of room in the space for both Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, and other smart contract blockchains. I recommend you guys go check that out. I think a lot of good points have been brought up in that discussion. And definitely show them some support, give them a subscribe, help their channel grow. They're definitely trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers. So let's just see if we can push the needle. So right now the crypto market is sitting above 2 trillion again. So we finally rebounded back above that $2 trillion from the last video that we discussed that we were under $2 trillion. Bitcoin has made a rebound. Now I did discuss this in the Discord. If you want to join that Discord to get any updates, ask a question, go ahead and join that. It'll be in the description down below. But I did let everyone know that we're seeing a bounce off the 100-day moving average, but we'll talk about that when we look into the chart. So we do see that Bitcoin did rebound. It did break into the 53,000 mark. Now there's still a long way to go. Admittedly, Bitcoin still needs to make up ground and get back up to all-time highs, 62,000 plus. Ethereum has made great strides to regain the ground that it sort of lost, but Ethereum did hold pretty well in the dump. So there wasn't much concern there. And that prominently made me pretty bullish on the crypto market in general, especially when you see Ethereum pumping and Bitcoin kind of going pretty deep into a dump. We have BNB obviously pumped back up to the $500 mark. XRP is back up to $1.31. Cardano is up to $1.22, which I know can be concerning for people, but we're going to be talking about Cardano specifically in this video. Dogecoin has continued the sideways action at 26 cents. Polkadot hasn't really regained a lot of the ground that it lost, so it's sitting at $32.88. But we still have a lot of projects that did pump through this whole dump. Sol is one of them. It's definitely going to be a contender. If you hold Sol, congratulations. I did do a live stream while Sol was pumping, and I advised some people not to buy the candle. But I understand that the project is a really good project, so it would be worth at least holding some. I unfortunately don't hold any. So I wanted to talk about the 100-day moving average. So we see Bitcoin did make it down to the 100-day that we were talking about, but it has bounced back and regained some ground. Now I would like to be very, very careful here, especially right now. Now I'm not saying that the bull market is over or anything, but we could see a downturn from here on Bitcoin. That's not unrealistic to see. And sure, it's a little bit of a bearish outlook, but the reality is we're not out of the woods yet. So I can only really tell you what's happening. But as long as we continue at least sideways action or an uptrend, then we should be good on Bitcoin. And we see that especially with altcoin dominance. To go back to CoinGecko here, we do see that the Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 48%, which is around the same range that it has been at. Which isn't surprising, but what is great is that this is the percent that it was at when it was dipping, and now we continue to see that it hasn't really regained much dominance, even though Bitcoin is rebounding. So that is a very, very bullish indicator for a lot of altcoins, which I'm pretty sure altcoins are about to make a huge move. So this is the part of the video that probably a lot of Cardano boys are waiting for, so here we go. Now, obviously, we're sitting at $1.22, which a lot of people would consider that pretty frustrating in terms of the price, because we haven't seen the price really deviate from this $1.20, $1.15, $1.30 range. It's just been hovering around here. And that's been a source of frustration for a lot of Cardano holders. I do understand that. But the thing that you have to understand, especially with Cardano, a lot of updates aren't going to happen quick. And if you've been here for a while, then you know Cardano doing sideways action moves is not unlike the Cardano price chart. What's unlike the Cardano price chart is just shooting up and then shooting back down because it holds no support. What these levels ideally tell us is that there is a lot of support at this level, and when we are able to make that eventual rise up, then we'll have a lot of support when we do get there, and we won't crash nearly as far down. Now, if you look at the daily for Cardano, so the similar chart to how we were looking at Bitcoin, we did see the bounce off of the 100-day. But the thing that you'll notice, especially looking at the Bitcoin chart, is this dip is far less exaggerated as the Bitcoin dip, which tells us that Cardano has a lot of support and is basically moving on its own right, which is amazing to see. It's good to see when Bitcoin's going to dump, Cardano's not going to do something very similar. Cardano held its ground, even though it did dip below $1. Again, these are all short-term price action, and none of this matters in the grand scheme of the economics going down further. So I do think Cardano is going to make a leg up, especially with altcoins pumping. I think Cardano is going to quickly make another move. Now, I don't know what we're going to hit by the end of the month, considering we only have a couple of days left. But I do think a $2 Cardano is in order within the next month or so, probably May. But again, this is not financial advice. Take everything with a grain of salt. But the fact of the matter is, Cardano moving up to around $2 is pretty realistic. If we look at a similar move here, we see Cardano moved. We'll go from the little wick to see the initial pump, because we saw Cardano go through a series of pumps. You can see that move up, shot up quite a bit. Now, I wouldn't say that we're going to make a 200% increase like here, because around a 200% increase would bring us to around a $3 ADA, $3.15 ADA. Now, I'm not saying that that's not realistic, and definitely not saying that that's not realistic for this bull market, but I'm not sure that that's where we're going in the short term. I think that there's going to be a psychological barrier once we hit that $2 mark. Again, I'll reiterate this for everyone watching. As much as TA is great, markets are strictly based on human emotion. So when you see a psychological barrier like $2, for example, you might get some resistance from that level just because of the number. It's the same thing when Bitcoin hit 60K, and it'll be the same thing when Bitcoin's pushing up against 100. But the good thing with Cardano that we know is that there's a lot of updates coming forth. We have the Alonzo update that's going to be bringing smart contracts to the platform. This is going to open up Cardano to a bunch of different developers. Now, this is hugely bullish for Cardano in the long term. In the short term, we really don't know what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be immediate support as soon as everything's up. It is going to be a gradual transition, but a transition nonetheless. So we do see Cardano is making moves. Obviously, everything moves a little bit slow. And that's not just with Cardano, but that's with a lot of other blockchain projects. So we do gotta expect the developers are trying to get the products out on the shelves, but it's going to take some time. So again, I remain cautiously optimistic of where Cardano is going in the near term, but again, in the long term, it doesn't matter. Cardano in this bull market is going to hit a good price point. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people what that price will be. But the reality is, nobody really knows. We can only speculate what the price of Cardano could be by the end of the bull market. Editing costs here. I totally forgot that I definitely wanted to talk about Pancake Swap and why Pancake Swap is making these big moves that it's making. We currently see Pancake Swap at around $33. And we do know that Pancake Swap just recently went through its upgrade to bring on the new liquidity pools. I've personally moved over my BNB and my cake and provided that within a new liquidity pool. I'd recommend, if you are on Pancake Swap and you do have LP tokens, to go have that changed over. If you're just staking cake on Pancake Swap, you don't have to worry. Nothing's changed for just regular staking mechanics. So that's all well and good. Now, we do know why Pancake Swap is pumping, and that's because of the Binance Smart Chain and how incredibly quick and how cheap this decentralized exchange is to use for a lot of people. And we do see that with CoinGecko. If you go up to the exchanges and then DEX, you do see the DEXs here. And we have seen Pancake Swap fight for that number one spot. Now, currently we see it a little bit low right now because of the segregation, I guess, of version 1 and version 2. So again, if you're still on the version 1 LP, you should definitely move your LP tokens and transition them over to the version 2, because I believe you won't be getting rewards if you're on the version 1. So make sure that if you do have liquidity on Pancake, that you are moving that over. Now, again, I'm super bullish on where Pancake can go. We've talked about how user-friendly the decentralized exchange is, how much I love the different aspects that they have. They have the team battles on here. Pancake Swap does a lot of events. They run some team battles. They have collectible NFTs. They have a lottery where you can buy a ticket and buy that with cake. You can even buy it with the cake that you farm. So if you're a degenerate gambler, this is probably your thing. I tend to stay away from the lottery. Myself, I just provide liquidity. But hey, I'm not here to tell you what to do. But ultimately, Cake making these big moves just makes me more and more bullish on what the future can be for DeFi and for decentralized exchanges, especially when we have PSwap and especially when Cardano has decentralized exchanges opening up. That's it for me, everybody. Again, if you'd just like to go over, watch that video, I'm going to link it down in the comments below. I had a really good talk with Tim and Nancy discussing Ethereum, why Ethereum is a great investment, and why Cardano and Polkadot have plenty of room to play in the space with Ethereum. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. All right, see you guys. Happy hodling.